Buenos dias, amigos. Let's dive into Neff's pick for cash days number 98, INMD. In mode. So, interesting one here. We have kind of crashed all the way down to this support level around 20. So low 20s, 20 to 22 here. You can see we have some previous resistance, slight resistance historical here. I wouldn't say it's major kind of support resistance, which means it could potentially break down. So let's take a closer look. We're looking at weekly level. Sorry, laptop slow, come on. Okay, so looking at weekly level here, and we have this hammer candle, which has given us our low on this wick here, and we have put in some higher lows. So this is interesting. It's not any kind of confirmation just yet, however. There is a potential for this to bounce as it's quite overextended compared to the moving averages, so you would expect some mean reversion. You can see we had a retest of this crossover here. This is just the 8 over 100, whatever, just shorter term over longer term. 21 over 100. So we would kind of expect some kind of a potential bounce back up into these moving averages. But like I said, this is a little bit of a weak support point historically. It's nothing major, so it could break down fairly easily, I believe. Looking at some indicators, we are still kind of generally bullish, although shorter term, we have some room, RSI stochastic, to kind of go a little bit more, and I think that could indicate that bounce, that potential for that bounce. Let's not look too much there. Let's dive down to daily. Let's see what's going on at daily. Okay, so here is our, okay, so here's a level we want to watch for a potential bounce. Chart's getting funny. Excuse me, guys. Sorry. Streamlabs really juices my laptop, I realize. All right, so this is our technical structure that we're watching for a break one way or another, right? So it could go up, it could go down. If we're looking for a bounce, it should break from this structure here, this wedge we've got going. If we're going to break up, we'll probably break up straight to this 50-day moving average. We'll reject off of that, bounce, retest, and if it wants to have, another kind of a higher swing bounce, we'll see it moving up into this Ichimoku cloud essentially, and potentially up to this 100-day moving average, which you can see is starting to kind of align with that Ichimoku cloud here. Since things are obviously a little bit iffy with everything, with the stocks and that stuff, if we do get this bounce, I wouldn't necessarily expect a breakout up above here. This would be a kind of shorter term bounce, shorter term swing bounce up into those moving averages we saw on the weekly. So actually, if we do let's do some alignment here. So on the daily chart, what were we talking about? This Ichimoku cloud, we're talking maybe high 20s to low 30s, somewhere maybe up in here, aligning with the 100-day moving average, which will keep swinging down towards kind of 30. So if we're just doing a general estimation, let's just say somewhere around 30. Let's see how that aligns on the weekly chart. 30, yeah, so 30 would align potentially with the 21 weekly moving average, which is typically a kind of short to medium term major support moving average level. So a 21 weekly moving average would be a major kind of, well, in this case, like rejection or bounce point, obviously depending on what direction you're going in. So that kind of aligns well. So if we do get that kind of bounce we're looking at the daily into that Ichimoku cloud, potentially bring us up into near 30, which would align with the 21 weekly moving average here, right around, high 20s up to 30. And just based on the general market, I would probably expect at that point a rollover. So this is just a bounce play up into a mean reversion on the weekly chart before we really know anything. At the most, you could go all the way up maybe into this 50 weekly moving average, which is would be around 40 or high 30s at that time. You can see the 50 and the 100 here are starting to kind of converge. That will be a major resistance level. So a bounce, mean reversion, potential further rollover situation. But we would need to assess that once, if this bounce happens, we would reassess once we get to that resistance level, right? Before we make any decision at that point. So basically, if you do a bounce play and it comes up into potentially up to the 30 level or into the 30s, I would, take profits. Don't expect it to continue a trend, I guess is what I'm getting at here. Cool. I think that's it for now, guys, on this one. So thanks for the support. Give a like, subscribe, and all that YouTube stuff. And I'm going to go enjoy some Mexican sun. Cheers, guys. Talk soon. Peace.